Hey guys, it's me, Kara, again, and I have brought along my amazing husband, Kenneth. And this is a very impromptu video. I called him this morning. I was like, hey, I wanted to call instead of text you this because I wanted to hear your tone of voice. Because he's a very giving man. He will go out of his way for you and he loves you. And quite honestly, I didn't want him to make a sacrifice for me. I want him to want to do it too. And you can always tell by a tone. A text message, when you see sure, you're like, huh, but what tone was that sure? So I said, you know that fight we had last night? He gets like, yeah. I was like, we really resolved that well. We really worked that out. We didn't go to bed angry and we found our flaws and we repented for them really quickly. What would you say if we just kind of talk about that argument we had and just kind of lay it out there? Air the dirt.
Air the dirt.
Spill the tea. But honestly, and let me give you the story. Jump in whenever I miss something. He comes home. We had to have our septic tank replaced and fixed and patched and filled lines and all the things. And we had to pay the guy, obviously. And we're looking for a credit card. Can't find the credit card. Like most housewives, I'm in charge of the funds and where our cards are. My bad. Fault on wife one.
One's over here, one's over here.
It's usually,
two over here that aren't activated.
That's a safe place where they usually go. But this time, we couldn't find it. And he was getting very aggravated because he wants to pay the money. He's a very prompt man when it comes to his payments and his debts. He wants everything taken care of right now,
That's right.
Which is a good quality. But me, don't know where I put it. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say I don't know where it's at because that's just going to make it worse for me.
You literally said, I thought you had it.
I was trying,
Something around
to pass that buck.
I didn't know.
Hey, you want to take that?
No.
You want to take that buck? No?
I didn't have that buck. I didn't have that credit card.
Well, we're getting into a debate back and forth. And he knows that previously I had paid for our dog to be groomed on a credit card, and we were trying to stay away from all credit card debt as much as possible.
Totally forgot about it.
And it created a little explosion between the two of us.
From me.
You want to take over that part?
I was the explosion.
You take over that part. You take over that part.
I was the explosion. So, my big thing for the past, I guess, couple of years has been God's been blessing us. And I'm so thankful for it. And I'm trying to be a good steward of what God gives us. And so, to me, the best thing you can do is to not be in debt. So the past couple of years, I've been really focusing on not canceling credit cards, but paying off any credit cards that we have. We've sacrificed tax refunds.
Mm-hmm.
Any money, big money that we might have come into, stimuluses.
Yeah.
We used our stimulus checks and our income tax checks to get out of debt.
All debt.
And so I've been so excited. This is the backstory. So I'm coming to an end. I wanted it to be over with. I didn't want to have debt on credit cards. So I'm seeing that we have all these credit cards laying around. And I'm like, we've emptied the balances on these things. Why do we need them? And I know we've got one credit card that we like to use. That's our thing. But why do we have these other ones from our past that we knocked out so we wouldn't have to deal with them anymore? And so I'm like, hey, we don't need these. I'm just going to cut them up.
And I was like, whoa. Don't. Well, you never know when an emergency might come up. You never know when a washer or dryer might break down, or you never know if there's going to be a lapse in the economy. And
the credit.
We got to take care of stuff. And if you completely close an account, it does affect your credit. And half the reason that we paid off all our debt was to build our credit. And so I was like, no, don't. And of course, I could have been gentler.
And I was very gentle. I was like, listen, I understand. I understand how you feel.
What do you
No.
What are you?
I was like, look, we go cut up these credit cards Is you gonna like it? It was something like that. It wasn't like that. No. She had to like cookware and knives and stuff near her. I wouldn't have said that. And I was like, no, we're gonna cut them up. We don't need them. And you understand. I was coming home from work, tired, done. I've been dieting and dying from it, so I'm tired. I'm ornery, and my wife is not being cooperative.
Yeah. Which I rarely am. I don't know why that's a surprise. But
I needed you to. I needed you to just be like, okay, Daddy. But no.
But normally this is me, but this time it was him. We were going back and forth, back and forth. I was like, no, I get that. I get that you're aggravated. I get that. I was trying to be real quiet and soft because I never want the girls hear us raise our voices. I get it. I get it. But.
And then she was on the phone with her friend, too.
Yeah.
I was like, crap.
And normally, it's me that sticks my foot in it, but he said something that struck a nerve in me and made me shut down.
I said you were making me feel like you were untrustworthy.
Exact words were, finger in the face, I don't trust you.
No, exactly. I said you're untrustworthy. That's what I said. You said. Pretty sure I only said one of them, but they meant the same. I was angry, and I exploded, and it made me feel that way. I know it's not true. I said that out of anger. And it was stupid. Shouldn't have said it, because that's not the truth. The truth was, I'm mad. You've got money at your disposal that I'm terrified that you'll use.
Yeah.
Though I know you're not that person.
I'm a cheapskate.
You're a cheapskate. You're cheaper than I am. I'm getting there.
Yeah. And I think that's where he messed up. Here's where I mess up. I'm one of those people, you hit a nerve, I shut down, I cut you off. I do it instantly. And it's a flaw. I have a serious flaw where I'm offended. I know that if I open my mouth after that moment, it's going to be cutthroat, mean. And I know myself well enough that I will, if I carry it on, go too far. I will.
And I can't be talked to like that.
Yeah, I will. So what do? Instead of calming down, making a resolution.
You popped off too.
No, I shut down and I'm like,
No, you got mad.
Yeah.
You did get mad.
I was like, no.
You didn't just shut down.
I said, be like that. That's what I said.
You saw, yeah.
I said, be like that. Be like that. Just be like that.
Okay.
And then I went and finished cooking my chicken con queso.
I knew that I needed to calm down because the kids were on the phone with their friends. I knew I was being stupid, but I wasn't backing down. I was already fuming because you just weren't listening. And I was like, if she would just listen to me, this is a solid plan. We don't have to get rid of them. We can always reorder the cards.
And I didn't hear that part.
You didn't hear that. That was going on, ringing around in my head. I'm thinking, it doesn't matter if we cut them up. I didn't say let's cancel. No, you did. Because I was like, I don't want to cancel them. I just want to cut them up. If we need them, we can reorder them. You were like, but emergencies. And I was like,
gotta wait like a week.
And then I said, when you said emergencies, I said, that's why we have the all-in card.
Yeah.
And you were like, yes, you
just never know. So I make the food. Don't even tell him it's done. No. I go upstairs, do some chores, and
she's talking to her mama.
No.
About me.
No.
No.
I
know you were talking about me.
No. I knew that's what he was thinking too. I knew that's what he was thinking. I knew, and I wasn't.
Tell your mama what I did.
I went organized the girls' hanging clothes, and was hanging up all the stuff they had on their Elsa table. And I was hanging up all their clothes, cursing your name in my head.
I yelled at you from the stairs. I was like, what are you doing? I'm in the girls' room. You never came out.
No.
You're still sulking.
Is the dinner ready?
Still mad.
Yeah, get you some.
I was like, fine, what did you see?
And then another part where I messed up. He had talked earlier that day about, hey, let's all go on a walk as a family. And I walk in after eating my food in the living room to myself and come in the bedroom where he's on the computer. I put my tennis shoes on and I'll walk out without saying a word.
You sure did.
I sure did.
I knew where you were going.
And I get like halfway up the pond and you come walking out and you're like, what you doing? And I'm like, I'm going for a walk. I'm going for a walk.
Knew what you did.
And you're like, were we all going together? And I'm like, well, the way your attitude was, I didn't think you wanted to.
No, I want to go for a walk. I take 5 minutes to get over it. As long as we have the talk. Gotta have the talk.
I wasn't ready for the talk.
Gotta have the talk.
So we go in the back. We have a big, thick chunk of woods in our back area behind the pond. And I find a nice log and I sit down. And I just kind of talk to God about it. I'm like, God, he hit a nerve. And I don't know. I need a minute. I have a big thing about, and it's a personal thing that I'm working on in myself. It's, I guess, childhood. I won't go into that yet. But I have a real issue of being accused. I have a real issue of being villainized. I have a very, I'm immediately, it hits a trigger in me and I shut down. I said, God, I need you to take this from me or else I'm going to hold it and I don't want to. I don't want to hold this. I love that man with every fiber of my being, even though in this moment I don't like him. I deeply, wholeheartedly, life-sacrificially love him. And I need to remember that right now. Help me. And I walk a little further down the woods and I come back up and I go around the property a couple of times and finally I come back inside and the girls come and meet me and I'm snuggling on them and what did you do? You tell them what you did.
Well, before all of that, while you were outside, I was fuming mad because I was the guy yelling at you from across the pond. So when I came back inside, it wasn't all happy rainbows and meeting God on the stump. I came in here and played on my game and probably said some choice words in my head and just kind of sat here mad at you. And you just go through the motions of like feeling good because you're mad at them. It makes you feel better. You go through a situation and you're like, the feels. And then, you work it out. Eventually I just got tired of being mad because I'm too old for that now. Woo! That'll wear you down, man.
Yeah.
Being mad at somebody. I'm sure there's a scripture in the Bible somewhere if you want to get all Bible about it, but I'm sure you will waste a lot of energy being angry at someone and just letting go. And I started to let go. And then you came back inside. My memory's kind of spotty. So I don't remember how we got to it, but I remember you were looking cute. And you guys were all laying over on the bed over there, you and the girlies. And I looked at you and I said, you're cute. You're pretty cute over there.
And that fixed everything. He didn't have to physically say, I'm sorry, even though he did. And I did. Even though he didn't, that just one little compliment diffused it for me. Because I knew what he meant. And I knew where his heart was in that moment. And I was like, it's better. And then we all go in the kitchen.
Well, the distance. To be honest, the distance sucked.
Oh, it's the worst.
I hated it. I hated the distance. You feel like your partner, who you're supposed to be one with, is a different person in a different world. You don't know what's going on in their head because you can't feel them anymore. And you feel like you're just withdrawn. And so for me, you did look cute. And I was going to tell you, I just was tired of being angry. I didn't want to be angry anymore. I didn't want you to be angry anymore. That, it sucks the air out of the house.
Yeah. It takes your peace away. So many people, you want to just hold the grudge because you feel like you're giving them their due punishment. I walked off by myself. Number one, to hold myself in because I know me well enough to know I can pop off. But also I needed him to feel my absence. And that was what was in my head. I needed you to know I walked off. And when I did that, immediately shutting the door behind me, I felt this conviction of the Lord saying, what do you think you do? You really think you have no faults? You really think you have no place of blame? Do you really think you're better in some way than him? And a lot of you women that you try so hard, you make all the right choices, and do all the right things, and take care of kids just the right way, and to garner your household just right. You feel like you're warranted something and that they're messing it up. And let me speak to all the ladies that have this confusion. You are not perfect. You're not doing everything perfectly right. You are human. You are flawed. And yes, you do things wrong. And yes, there are things to apologize for on your end. And he warranted an apology from me. So when we all get to the kitchen, we give each other a big hug.
And what did I say?
He said, sorry.
I didn't just say I was sorry. I said, you are not untrustworthy. You are not untrustworthy. I said that out of anger.
And I said, sorry.
Because it wasn't true. I said, it's not true. I was mean. It was anger. It was not truth. Sometimes, and I don't know, I'm pretty sure I'm not the only guy that says really dumb things when you get angry. Just because it's the only thing in that simple mind of yours that can pop out in the moment.
Yeah.
It's because it's your feelings incarnate in a word, brought to word, And that's just what happened. And I apologize for being an idiot. Because that's what it was. It was just stupid.
But there's a sacrifice of pride you have to make that first step. Because he did apologize first, like at what a real man does. Real men don't put their pride over their wife. A real man doesn't take his masculinity and he's compensating for something that he has to make this attitude so big because everything else in him is small.
I feel like a bigger man by doing it.
And he is. And I immediately melt into a puddle.
She did.
I did.
Immediately.
And all my was gone. And he received everything that he deserved. I gave him all the hugs and I said, thank you so much. And I apologized back. But I think there's a great sacrifice of pride that has to be made in a lot of marriages. And something I really want to hit is the scripture in Ephesians where it speaks on a man is to love his wife as he loves the church, but a woman is to respect. Isn't that funny? It's the main commandment for the spouses aren't exactly the same. You ever wonder why that is? Do you ever wonder why his main objective, even though he's to respect me as well because Christ respects the church, but his first commandment is to love me as Christ loves the church. And it is the command unto me to respect him. See, because women have more of a bigger heart, fuller heart, I can love him through anything. But can I pop off and lose my respect that fast? Sure can. I'm not perfect. This whole channel is not meant for perfection. If you're there, then go ahead and take over. But I know that this man deserves all the respect. He earns it, but also he's God appointed to it. I feel loved in the way that Christ expects a man to love his wife. And with that, I should reciprocate that love. But for those of you in troubled marriages, even if, and we've been through times where it wasn't like that, even if I don't feel like I have that kind of love, I should show the same amount of respect regardless. In my husband's hardest times, when he was really down, he was figuring out his job, and he was figuring out things, I always looked at him and I said, if you saw yourself the way that I do, you'd never doubt yourself again.
And that gave me the strength to go and become the man I was supposed to be. The man I tried to be and fell down numerous times before. And you speaking like that, it always bounced around in my head. You know what I mean? When I started getting scared about taking certain steps to make it better for our family, the fear was quaking, earthquaking. I mean, it's unbelievable the way it would shake me. It would shake me to the core. The fear of making that step to become the better man, to become the better provider, that kind of stuff. But hearing those words in my head of what you said, is what gave me the courage to do what I did, and went out and got the job that I got, and here we are. You know, it's amazing just what positive affirmations, is that the right word, can do for someone. Your mother is the queen of that.
Yeah.
Just building you up. You have that too. So, I mean, you guys are awesome with that. Positive affirmation.
And just so you guys know, this channel would not exist without this man. It wouldn't. I would not have the courage. I would not have the self-esteem. If you know me, I hate taking selfies. He's like, send me a selfie, baby. Send me a picture of yourself.
She never sends me selfies.
I hate pictures of myself.
I love selfies from her.
I hate seeing my picture. I hate taking my picture.
Who doesn't want a pretty girl on their phone? Send me a picture.
He'll watch this recording back. I won't. Because I don't like this. My sound of my voice irritates.
I won't watch the whole thing. I'll listen to the beginning and the end and make sure.
Make sure it all works out.
I've been listening as we go.
It's in there.
That's a long time to listen to something.
But something I have to reiterate: your self-worth oftentimes will lie in the eyes of your spouse. And not to get all PG-13, but it's also a big thing of speaking their love language. You know, the first thing I did when he apologized, I wrapped my arms around him because he's a physical touch person. That's his number one love language.
That's me.
I'm a
big dog. Just love me.
I am not. I am like, do something. Do something. I'm an acts of service person.
I do lots of things.
Oh, no, you do. You do all the things.
All the things.
I knew to show how much I loved him and to display in the language that he understands, not mine, of how much I appreciate him.
I believe in love languages. That is a true thing.
Now, when it comes to loving me as Christ loves the church, what do you take that as meaning of how a man of God loves his wife?
Well, I don't know. I know that I'm supposed to love you like myself. I know that. Like, even if I didn't know the Bible, you know, the golden rule speaks truth because your soul hears it. I feel that. You treat your spouse as you would yourself. I treat you the way God would have me treat you. I'm supposed to lead. I know that I'm ordained as a man of, not just a man, but as your husband. I know because I believe women can lead too. I don't care what anyone thinks. I believe women can lead. I would vote for a woman president. I don't care what you think if she had the right qualities. Now, I know that I'm ordained to lead you, but I know that I'm also ordained to shut up sometimes and listen to the wonderful woman that God has provided me with. And I'm supposed to treat you as an equal and treat you how God would have me treat you. So it's not about smashing you down and treating you like a subservient whatever. It's about treating you as an equal. That's how I see it.
And honestly,
I'm simple. I'm not going to jump to the Bible when I try to figure it out. I'm going to go with my conscience, and I feel that.
The way God speaks to him, it works best. My husband he used to say, "I don't hear God." I wish I could hear God. But he's a bull-faced lie. And when he realizes, he's like, oh, he talks to me like literally all the time.
I said that, and God had literally spoken to me that morning. And my dummy self went over and was like, yeah, they're speaking to me. There speaks to me. Yeah, okay.
But what I think is spectacular is that he doesn't just look at what God said. He understands what God is saying.
The feeling.
And understand, they align with each other. But in order to really get direction, you can't look at what he said in the past to other people. You have to go into intercession and pray and receive what he is now saying to you, not what he said to someone else in the past.
That's right.
That's not your reliance.
You're not, all the promises don't belong to you.
Yeah. But that has saved our marriage right there.
Yeah.
Our marriage has honestly been saved by not giving up, stopping and hearing the Lord and saying, your will, not mine, because they suck right now. And that's been on both ends.
Yeah.
But
oh, yeah.
In the end, because we overcame that, because now we're coming on 13 years together, we have come to this point because we realize that God is what holds us together. God is our glue. And he reminds me all the time how much I'm in love with him and why I'm in love with him and the goodness of God that resides within him. I asked something before I ever met this man.
I remind you or God remind you?
It's a combo. It's a combo.
I just want to remind you how awesome I am.
Usually when you do something, when you bring me some chicken tikka masala from that restaurant.
Oh, Taj. Please.
But then you remind me. But it's that it's that constant reminder of you don't quit. You don't give up on each other. We've been through some hard stuff, but it's never been about quitting. We don't quit. And we stand firm on the promises of God in our marriage and preserve the well-being of our children. And when one of us is down, just as long as there's one person in the marriage that won't give up, it's still salvageable. It's still able to be worked. So if you're that person that doesn't feel like your marriage is going to work, but you want it to, don't quit.
We've both been that person. Many times. It takes a lot. It takes a lot to survive a marriage. It really does, because there's so many conflicting personalities and there's so many things where this person's angry about this, and like, can you handle the whiny? Can you handle the too much? What's the word? Being too strong. Can you handle this? And and then the merging, and then the compromising, and eventually it's just like you get into a rhythm.
Yeah.
And you kind of know each other's quirks.
And you kind of become a little bit of each other.
You do. I've learned a lot from you, and I know you've learned a lot. You've relaxed a lot since the first, us getting married and to now. You've relaxed a lot, and I know that I probably changed a lot too. I know that I have. There's things that I don't even realize have changed. I'm sure. I'm sure that's everybody. You don't even know.
He gave me a better heart. He did. Much better heart. I was very cold.
And I think you gave me thicker skin. Because you got that right. Yeah. Take it on the chin. Take it on the chin.
He takes it in stride.
Oh man, you take that one on the chin.
But I hope this blesses you guys in your marriage, because understand it is a constant work in progress. There is never a time that you stop working or stop trying or stop making the effort. There is no, I think the most annoying saying in the world is, I love you means never having to say you're sorry. That's a bold-faced lie from hell. You always say you're sorry. And I think one of the main things I want to leave with this is it's always worth the work. It is worth the I'm sorry. It is worth the sacrifice of your pride. It is worth coming together and making a compromise with each other. It is worth the effort, because 13 years in, there's been multiple times that you can just say, wash your hands, and I will rejoice for all of my days that I was not too weak to stay. I was strong enough to stand firm and be here, and just be here. That's the best life I could ever ask for.
And I feel like we missed an opportunity to say one thing. And I think a lot of A lot of relationships will hear this, and probably more than I even know. But I believe that, in my experience, that men are usually a little bit more simple, and that they are. I don't mean that your women are super complicated, because no one would ever say that. But in my experience, the men that I've met, at least down here in the South, if you know Jesus, you're not a Bible reader. A lot of times, you get here and there. You'll hear your mama tell you, and you'll read a scripture online. You'll remember it from Sunday school and all that stuff. I don't read my Bible every day. I don't. I'm not a Bible. I'm not a super religious person. I'm very spiritual. Very spiritual. I know my God. I've known him since I was a child. My mama brought me up to be that way, and that's just how I am. And my granny. God bless her.
That's a woman of God right there.
God rest her soul. But she is more, she'll tell me the word, just like her daddy. She's a chip off the old block. And I'll hear the word, and I know the word. I was raised up in it. But that's not who I am. I don't go to the word when I have an issue. I go to my conscience, because that's where Jesus talks to me. And I know that I'm not saying you shouldn't read. I know I can learn a lot from it. I've read the Bible from cover to cover several times. I just don't retain it the way you guys do. And all these experiences I'm a guy, you know what I mean? I'm just a simple guy. And that was an experience that happened with a person like me. And for you, we get two different sides of the spectrum when we come back together. And I gain a lot from what you say about the word, when you explain how God spoke to you and what you know in the word. And then for me, from a simple standpoint of saying, I was just reacting. I was just having a reaction. And my whole coming back to you and apologizing is just God in me. And I may not know all the scriptures for it, but I know what he said. Because I know my God. And I'm also just a guy,
A good one.
that lives in the same world everybody does, and has the same problems and same flaws that everybody does. But we work through it. I just want to make sure that we touched on that, because I felt like that was something that we should have said for sure.
And another thing.
And another.
Ladies, I gotta talk to the wives here, because I've heard this literally dozens of times in my ministry. He doesn't read his word like I do. He doesn't worship the Lord like I do. He does not pursue the fall. He's playing video games, listening to Christian music, and thinking that's going to do something. It is not. He's going to burn in hell. He acts like that. Let me tell you something, ladies.
We're not listening to Christian music.
Let me explain something to you. He'll play his game for an hour or so. And then pull his headphones off his head and have the most profound, prophetic feeling and just pour it out of his mouth.
Absolutely. He
has talks with God in ways that I don't. But I could honestly vouch for this, and everything you've heard him talk on a spiritual walk, he is no less spiritual than me. He is not. He has a deep communion with the Lord, and no, it is not like mine. No, our walks are not exactly the same, but his walk is not less worthy of the glory and adoration of just the praise of Jesus that is on him. There is nothing less glorious about his walk than mine.
I grew up in that throwdown Pentecostal. We threw down.
Yeah. They had chicken feathers coming out of their air conditioning vents.
I learned how to kind of I learned how to reel it back. But that's what ran me off from the church. And why I'm not a super, I say it ran me off from the church. I can't stand this religious spirit that's all over the church today. I can't stand it. Ugh, it runs everybody off.
Yeah.
If you're like, thus saith the Lord. No one wants to hear that. No one wants to hear that. Even the churchy people don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear that stuff.
Amen.
They want you to come at them like a normal person with experience of how God has ministered to you. And the word tells you things. Yes, it does. But not everything is thus saith the Lord. Relax.
Yeah.
Relax. You're the Karen of the biblical world. you want to,
But know that just because your walks aren't the same, that you're not unequally yoked.
We're not.
You better get it. Yeah, people need to understand our worship tastes aren't the same. Our scriptural tastes aren't the same. Our walk doesn't look the same, but are we going the same path together in the same pace? We most certainly are.
And I'm rough cut and I'm all stripped down to just being this man, flawed and all. But this person over here that's supportive and it has a different walk. I may not act like I'm getting something out of it, like I'm not learning from it or whatever, but I am. Every turn, every step, I get something from you. And it changes both of us down this path.
Yeah. And I learn from him constantly. You think that he's not the Bible thumper, that I wouldn't really glean much, but man, he will rock my world in my theological brain and be like, I didn't see it.
Oh, don't get me started there. Don't get me started there.
I didn't see that.
I start asking questions. I ask questions.
Yeah.
I'm not scared to ask questions. I'll ask you the hard stuff and make you question your religion. Be like, do I believe that? Oh my gosh. Let me get another word for that one. Be like, oh, okay.
But I hope this video blessed you guys. Give us a comment, a like, a share. Anyone who's is going through marriage stuff. Hopefully this will bless some of you guys. But for now, and I will always end my videos this way, God bless you, keep you, cause his face to shine upon you, be gracious to you, and give you peace. See you guys.
We can do that.
Bye, guys.